This is Gynarchic Awakening. I'm taking a break from household chores to send a message. This is a message to the Gynarchy community, to other Gynarchists. Um, it's more or less this. I have been sending messages, I've been writing and communicating with my people, and there seems to be this underlying belief that political activism can actually change the current trend. And I don't I don't want to see these people get hurt. And I am a strong advocate for relocation when possible. Here is my message to the Gynarchy community, to Gynarchists in the aftermath of this election. Please do not sacrifice your life in a futile attempt to revive the dead body that is the American political system. It's done, finished. This was the point of no return for this American electorate. We are not going to see another seriously competitive election in our lifetimes. I'm calling it now. My advice to you is stop giving it the time and energy that it doesn't deserve. It doesn't deserve that. And the people in the United States who fucked you over, they don't deserve your sacrifice. You are valued and cared about by other Gynarchists. In other words, you should live for your own people. Stop. I think that, I don't know if this is androcentric conditioning. I don't know if this is religious conditioning or if it's a byproduct of it. Like they read, the stuff about Jesus Christ as a child and they thought that sacrificing was noble. It was the only way to get things done. No. That is a very naive and foolish way of thinking, especially when you are a minority group internationally. We are still in the process of growing as a community. Throwing your life away for an electorate of people who didn't vote for you, didn't care about you, and still don't care about you, and in fact would probably hate you, it's the height of foolishness and stupidity. Don't throw your life away for people who would never do the same for you. Some of these people would literally, if they knew who you were and what you believed, they would walk by you even if you were bleeding on the street and they wouldn't call an ambulance or a police officer or anyone to come pick you up. They just let you bleed out and die right there. Yes, we're talking about people who are this cruel and this vicious. So don't do this to yourselves, please. You are going to have a better chance of dealing with the future if you're alive. I have been advocating for in-person Gynarchy communities for well over a year now because I know what this electorate is capable of. I also know what the other people, the other countries are capable of. This is not a time to be throwing our bodies at something and trying to resuscitate the dead patient. It's done. It's finished. You are not going to be able to bring it back. So, and it's difficult to say. It's hard because it means admitting that you lost, right? But see, there's a difference between losing a battle and a war. And if you're going to exchange the lost battle for the entire war, you'll likely end up losing both. And so I'm saying it could end up being in the literal sense. It could end up being strictly metaphorical, the word war, in case anybody's wondering. But whatever it is, it's not worth it. And I just want people to understand that. Like, I understand that you're pissed off. I know that you're angry. And by the way, this is coming from somebody who lives with people who are on Social Security. This comes from of a man whose other family members live on Social Security. I will, if I don't find a job in the next few months, I will very likely end up destitute first, then homeless. It could end up, depending on how much they want to change the laws or enforce the laws, it could lead to I could end up in jail or prison or worse. You never know how these things are going to go. Obviously, I won't start anything on the street, but it is what it is. You know, when you if you close the soup kitchens, if you get rid of the government aid, people are going to be fighting other people for resources. Cutting off Social Security is essentially encouraging violence in the United States. There will be violence and destruction. Now, I'm going to try to avoid that as much as I can because I don't want to hurt other people. Worst thing I could probably do if I wanted to go to prison to get a meal or so is property damage. And it's going to be very minor. I don't believe in burning things to the ground. That's fucked up. Don't burn somebody. You know, somebody can replace a glass window. Don't burn somebody's business to the ground. That's some next level bullshit. Don't do that. Don't. We don't need a repeat of the 2020 riot situation. We don't need that in our lives. We didn't need it then, and we don't need it now. But I'm telling you this as somebody who has everything to lose and whose family will very likely personally suffer greatly from the election of this man. We most likely will either be homeless or I don't know what my mother and sister are going to do. Maybe they'll try to get family to take them in. Maybe another family will take them in. But what eventually will happen if Social Security is gutted and cut is these people will be forced to rely on the charity of their family members. So you're about to find out which members of your family are willing to look after you and which will see you as a burden and a financial expenditure that they can't afford. You will learn the truth about who has been on your side this entire time and who's been waiting to unleash cruelty upon you. Now, my personal thing is, if it happens, I'm not afraid of being homeless. I'm not afraid of prison or death or any of that. I simply don't give a fuck. I'm Gynarchist till I die. That's how I roll. That's the way I live. But if you're in a better disposition, if you're a Gynarchist who has a job or a future or a career, because I had what's called a nervous breakdown when I was 20 years old. My heart rate kicked up to like 150 beats per minute. And then I developed mental health issues. I developed what was called panic disorder. And from that point on, my stress levels got so high. And if you don't know, you can look this up. You can research this stuff. There are certain kinds of hormones in your body that if you're subjected to them too long, you can do crazy shit. Some people think that the psychological stuff is only in the head. It's not. It can become physical. I had moments where it felt like there was like a black hole or something at the center of my heart. I remember walking for 15 minutes and feeling my heart pound for like 5 or 6 hours. It was some scary shit. And what that nervous breakdown did to me as a man in my young 20s is it destroyed my ability to finish school, to finish college, and it also, at the same time, destroyed my ability to look for a job. So it's definitely like my situation is like a double whammy. It's this plus I haven't been able to get a job. I've had job interviews, but nothing's working out. No one wants to hire me, and I don't blame them. I understand it. It's like you're taking a risk with a guy who's never had a job before and he's 32 years old. What the fuck do you think is going to go through an employer's mind when they hear about this shit? It is what it is. But, you know, regardless, none of that's going to stop me from doing what I do. Death might, being incapacitated might, but I'll still keep making the videos when I can. I'll still keep talking about this stuff. Maybe it won't be from the comfort of my bedroom, but I'll still be going about it. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is don't get lulled into don't allow people to maneuver you into a position of vulnerability that you cannot defend yourself from. Okay? This system has thoroughly betrayed our people. It has betrayed other demographics as well. It does not deserve your allegiance, your respect, or your concern. And also, because of what they have just done, the best bet you have is talking with climate scientists, finding out which nations are more likely to survive the collapse, and making an attempt to either go there or to immigrate over somehow, or to find some way to get the hell out of Dodge, or at the very least to keep a low profile. If you are thinking about coming out to your family as a Gynarchist, there may be advantages to being covert about this now, to not being open. See, it's too late for me, and I wouldn't have it any other way anyways. I don't lie. I tell people what I think. But there are others who are in the closet who maybe want to come out, but they're afraid to because they don't know how they're going to be treated, because they saw how women and feminists were treated during situations like Gamergate and all that other shit. So we know how these individuals behave. We know how they act. And so it's not that much of a stretch to say, well, if they're going to treat them like that, they're going to treat us like this. And that's really the problem, is how far are you willing to go to defend, to be who you are? And some people, it might be better just to was it loose lips sink ships, like just shut the fuck up, hold on to your gun active beliefs, just find other people in your community and don't say anything if you have to, if you can't get away from the monster that is now the United States. If you can't get away from it, there you go. But you're not going to get anywhere with the politics. You're not going to get anywhere with the arguments. You are only going to expose yourself to greater danger. You're going to put a target on your back, and you will not like the result. Especially since no one, not even people on the left, will give a shit about you. They will not care about your death. They will just see you as an impediment to their own goals, because they're going to see you as an extremist. They're not going to understand your perspective in all of this. They're just going to say, well, you're a mild inconvenience, and they'll probably be grateful that you've been removed and out of the way, because they don't want you to represent them, or they don't want to feel like they're being represented by you in any way. So what I'm trying to say is the right are obviously not your friends here in this situation, and the left are also not your friends. You are your own best friend here. If you take any wisdom from this video, please take this. Believe in yourself and what you can do. I spent a long time in my life believing in causes, believing in concepts, believing in arguments and reasoning. And what ended up happening in the end is none of those things mattered in my life. None of those things changed it for the better. If you want your life to change for the better, and I know it sounds corny, but you've got to save your own life. You've got to bust your ass, and you've got to work for whatever skills you can earn yourself and learn on your own. Don't look to the American electorate to either solve your problems or help you realize whatever dreams you have or goals. We're far past that point, and we'll be even further past that after, I think, January 20th. I think that's when the new president is sworn in. You are better off focusing on individuals, focusing on community, because you can build relationships with the people. The problem with arguing on the internet, you don't know them. They don't have a connection with you. They don't give a shit about you. They're not the people that are looking you in the face, talking to you when you get offline. Don't even waste your time. I think that the success or failure of not only radical feminism, but the Gynarchy community, it will largely depend on how they utilize their time. Are you going to self-develop? Are you going to learn the skills that you need in order to get where you need to go? Or are you going to try to do this whole like Luke Skywalker thing from like the sixth movie, where you think that talking to Darth Vader will make him throw the Emperor over the shaft? It's not happening. You're not Luke Skywalker, and the Republican Party is not Darth Vader. The Republican Party, unfortunately, is more like Palpatine. So, not going to happen. Don't even think about it. Focus on yourself. Believe in yourself. Everything else will fall into place in one way or another. I don't know how else to put it. I hope you have a good day.